Good evening. How's everybody doing this evening? This is a kind of a bittersweet moment for us, but we want to do it in style, and I think that we've accomplished that. I am Cynthia Elliott, President of the Rochester Board of Education, and I welcome you on behalf of the Board of Education to honor this evening our outgoing board members, Commissioner Ricardo Adams, as well as Commissioner Willa Powell. You know, for the last couple of years, we've accomplished some great work. Commissioner Adams has just been a staunch advocate for our students and our children and our food service and our security. I mean, he's just been a staunch supporter of those things. And one of the things I say all the time is Commissioner Adams is the favorite. You know how you have a favorite child? Commissioner Adams is, without question, the favorite board member. And someone said to me, I won't call her name, that, you know, I could be in the running for that once that he's gone. But also Commissioner Powell. And Commissioner Powell has been on the board 27 years, Commissioner? How many? 24 and a half years she's been on the board. And so she comes to us with a lot of historical information, and some of the things that you're seeing tonight is what she put together. And so I just want to thank her for that, and we'll be hearing from the both of them. Can you give them both a round of applause, please? And so I just want to also to acknowledge some people who are in the room, who are some of our good friends in government and in the courts. I want to recognize first my predecessor, the Honorable Van White. Can you stand up, Your Honor? Thank you. I also see my friend, also a new friend of mine, Assemblyman Demond Meeks, who's also here. So we got some good friends that we can call on. And also, without question, want to recognize our mayor, who was also a former president of the Rochester Board of Education. So maybe when I'm no longer president, I can become mayor. That's right. So I just want to welcome everybody, and if I've missed somebody that I should have recognized, please stand up or raise your hand, but thank you all for coming. I want to start off, there's a special, we're going to start off by honoring Commissioner Adams, and there is some special presentations, and so I want to call up Jennifer Bannister and Shalonda Bowler from Teen Empowerment. Can you all come forward, please?
So sadly, Shalinda is actually working overtime at the Center for Youth, and so she took on an extra shift, and she would really have loved to be here. And actually, Rhodesia McCullough is outside right now. Was just pulled over, so I was about to go down and see if I could find her, but we're going to do this for Ricardo myself. So first of all. I mean, I think that President Elliott already said it, is that Ricardo is exactly what we want for people to be on our school board, and even just to be in our community. And so, like, when I think of Rochester, like, so much of what makes Rochester home for me personally is Ricardo being in this community and who he is in this community. So just a couple quick things I'm just going to say. I'm Jennifer Bannister from Teen Empowerment, and just thinking about three things that stand out to me around Ricardo is like just showing up. So the idea that even like his family was built on showing up. So most people might know, or many people might know, that Ricardo and Mary actually met doing work with folks without homes, showing up where they were on a bus, doing medical care with the Poor People's Campaign. And ever since then, their entire family, it's exactly like emblematic of everything they've been in this community and kept going. So the showing up, whether it be in Ferguson, whether it be at Free the People Rock, whether it be at Teen Empowerment, just like every March, anything that young people needed at Teen Empowerment, anytime, just no question. Ricardo has always been there. The other piece is how he lives on his principles, and that his principles come from lived experience as much as love. And then I think then he's worked in all the data and the policy reading and all that kind of stuff, but it really from the core comes from his heart and from his experience. And he lived the school to prison pipeline, and so he's committed his life to dismantling that for other young people. And his children have come up behind him doing the same. He's always been a father first, so like even when we got into this work around the code of conduct and solutions, not suspensions, school climate, it was always from the day one, school number 10, couldn't find a time when Ricardo wasn't there in the classroom for his children, and he's been that throughout the board as well. He's a father first, he'll say it all the time. And then finally, I'll just say that the third point is, I think the phrase is authentic AF would be Ricardo. And so just like Ricardo has never changed and will not change in front of whatever audience he's in front of. He will still come with dignity and respect and all those things. And it's just, it makes it, like, I think that's probably why, if we're saying there's a favorite board member, it's because Ricardo is there, and he is true to who he is and who this community is, and thank you so much, Ricardo.
Thank you, Jennifer. Our next speaker is Nakia Burrows, principal of Northeast College Prep. Nakia?
It does. Thank you. So I am Nakia Burrows, principal at Northeast High School. And I do not have a speech for you because I feel that I will speak in the essence of Ricardo, speaking from the heart. He is definitely a man of two words. So I feel that I can speak in the spirit of that this evening. Ricardo is someone that has been a huge ally for us at Northeast. Whenever we fought hard battles, he was always there for us, and, that's very much appreciated. It's also appreciated how real you are, because our challenges are real, and it meant a lot to have a commissioner that understood that and kept realness at heart. Because in the challenges that we have to fight to be successful, we need someone on our side who can actually relate to it and not be afraid to fight those battles. So we really appreciate that. I think about our graduation ceremonies and how you would get up and speak about 3 words, tilt your hat, and say a couple words, and by the time we sit down, we're standing right back up because the next speaker is up and you're done with your speech, but you always found a way to bottom line important things and just get to the bottom of it. And I think that's what makes you great. We really will miss you as a commissioner. But the one thing I would love for you to understand is that the work of an ally is never done. So even though this position is done and you're going on to new endeavors, you still will get those phone calls from us. So expect that when we open up our new middle school, you still will get those calls. And that's no disrespect to our new commissioner, but we've developed that relationship, and we appreciate that you were always there for us, even when you were in pain. At our last graduation ceremony, you couldn't even sit down. You were in so much pain, but you were there. And so we expect you to continue to do that. So expect those phone calls because they're coming. But we really do appreciate what you have done for us. And on behalf of the Northeast community, we want to wish you the best on your next endeavor and good luck. Thank you.
I would just argue one point, we really don't want you to be out there in pain. We want you to take rest, yeah, but I know, you know. The next speaker, let me just also recognize my colleagues, my current colleagues, Vice President Beatrice LeBron, as well as Commissioner Camille Simmons. Is there anyone else in the room? All right. The next speaker on behalf of Commissioner Adams is Rochester City Councilwoman Kim Smith. Ms. Councilwoman Smith, would you come and share some words?
Hello, everyone. How humbling it is to be here to speak on your behalf, Commissioner. As the speaker mentioned before me, I know, and I think everyone in this room knows, that you are certainly not a man of many words, but you have always been a man of action. And many people in this community are familiar with the concept of servant leadership. But what many people don't know is the idea of servant leadership comes with very specific principles. And when I read those principles around servant leadership, then I see your face, Commissioner. And I just want to read a little bit about what servant leadership is. Servant leadership is a leadership philosophy in which the goal of the leader is to serve. But this is different from traditional leadership, where the leader's main focus is on the thriving of their company or organization. A servant leader shares power, puts the needs of the people first, and helps people develop and perform as highly as possible. And instead of the people working to serve the leader exists to serve the people. And so when I think about that, and I think about some examples of how you showed up, I have actually the most recent rally that I was at with you. You stood with the people telling your related story and being an example of how people can benefit from a specific statewide legislation. And I admired you for that. And as we were on the ground petitioning during this last election, you petitioned primarily for everyone but yourself. And so servant leadership, it is about mentorship, it is about education, it is about helping people to reach their highest levels of potential. And that is what I have always, the type of leader that I have always known you to be. So on behalf of my colleagues at City Council, I just want to take a moment and read this short recognition. On behalf of Rochester City Council, we would like to congratulate you for your constant dedication to the lives of our city residents. Through your passion for children and commitment to retaining equitable rights for our most vulnerable community members, we are blessed to have such a community servant in our city. Thank you for your previous, your present, and your future service and commitment to the city of Rochester.
I'm gonna go with the flow. So those are the speakers in honoring Commissioner Adams, but I want to call him up so that we can acknowledge him and give him an award. And as he's coming, what I would like for you all to do is to stand up and tilt your hat to our commissioner.
So, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna let y'all make me cry up here, man. I show, this is all my family, everybody up in here, man. And let me speak on my little 4 years at the board. First of all, I've done nothing. No board member can do anything by themselves. It's collaboration. And I collaborated with always with at least 3 other board members. With superintendent, it's just so important that we don't hire them and then don't work with them. We can't do that. That ain't how it go. We have to work with everybody, whether we like them or not. There's a couple Bills haters in here that I really didn't. I'm in my feelings about, but I still work with them, you know. But it's been good. I feel I learned how to collaborate. I learned how to forgive. People step on my toes, get on my last nerve. I still work with them, and that's what you have to do. You have to be willing to sacrifice and for these kids. And I'd like to just say, the district, our CSD, has been so good to my kids. My kids is thriving for real. I mean, for real. One is graduating this year, and she can go anywhere she want to go. Yeah, she can go anywhere she want to go. And the other one, Maya, shoo, she is a beast. She don't, and I mean that in a good way. She don't play. And I just want to honor, like I said, everybody here is family, but there's some folks in here, man, that's been kind of carrying me. That's Rahima, Anissa, Francine, Leslie, and there's who? And Charisma. Man, they do a lot of the work behind the scene, man. And I have to just be honest with you, they've been carrying me. They've been carrying me, and I have to give them a special acknowledgement. And that don't leave anybody else out. Other people, everybody in here, man, for real, has been working with me. I wish they could work with everybody else together, from Glenn to Sean, all of y'all, man. I'm not going to talk you to death because I'm a man of 2 or 3 words. So I'm trying to stay to that. I usually don't be doing these long speeches, but this is the last one. Thank you, Demond, for coming, man. My last acknowledgement, man. And I know people are going to be in their feelings about this, man, but in case you didn't know, I have 2 work wives here. I ain't gonna even make you figure it out. I'm gonna tell you, Camille Simmons and Beatrice LeBron. So I have 2 work wives. I'm sorry, Mary. All right, and I really enjoy working with you too, Superintendent Blocker. And with that, I'm gonna set my butt down.
No, we got to give
Carmine, you see, he's one. I'm gonna expose him. I'm gonna expose him because this is what I do. He's a bill hater.
So with that, we want to give both commissioners, but in this case, Commissioner Adams, this lovely glass plaque. Is that what it's called? So let me just read it. Presented December 21st, 2023 to Ricardo Adams in recognition of your dedication and positive impact as Commissioner of the Rochester Board of Education. We'll get 4 years of service.
Thank you.
All right.
There you go.
Please take off your hats one more time for the commissioner. Woo! Thank you so very much. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a, yep. Commissioner Adams? Hi, we have Assemblyman Demond Meeks that wants to recognize the commissioner.
So we all want to recognize the commissioner as the local delegation, and I reached out and said we got to make this happen, and we made it happen, brother. We go back like what they say, Max and Cadillacs. But you know, we had some really great times just doing the advocacy, doing the work. Whether it was traveling to Washington D.C., traveling to Albany, me being elected a state assemblyman, meeting with you in Albany, you know, on the issues affecting this community. So I just want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment. Just thank you for being who you are. You know, a stand-up representative, a stand-up husband, a stand-up father, standing in the gap, not only for your children, but recognizing that your children's success is partly contingent upon the success of the children around them. So I just want to say thank you, brother. And we have a brief proclamation. I won't read it in its entirety, but recognizing Commissioner Ricardo Adams, a family man, distinguished citizen, and devoted member of this community. Whereas there are certain outstanding members of our community who, through their selfless commitment and dedication, have had a measurable positive impact by serving to better the quality of life in our community. Ricardo Adams is one such individual. And whereas in 2020, Ricardo Adams was elected as a commissioner of the Rochester City School District, he is also the committee chair for the Community and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. And whereas Commissioner Ricardo Adams has been there for people in Rochester, the youth in the city school district, and has a strong sense of justice, now therefore be it proclaimed that this Rochester legislative delegation pause in their deliberation to honor the work, dedication, and accomplishments of Commissioner Ricardo Adams, and be it further proclaimed that a copy of this proclamation be transmitted to Commissioner Ricardo Adams, signed the Dean of our delegation, Assembly Member Harry Bronson, Senator Jeremy Cooney, Assemblywoman Sarah Clark, Senator Summer Brook, Assembly Member Jennifer Lunsford, and myself, Assemblyman Demond Meeks. Thank you, brother, for your service. God bless you.
So I'm going to see if my board colleagues who are here would like to say something in honor. Would you want to wait later, or you want to wait at the dais? How would you all want to do that? I want to give you an opportunity if you would like to say some words at the dais. You want to do it now, Commissioners, at the dais? Okay. Okay.
Thank you, President Elliott. I just wanted to take a moment and tell you about this black man in a hat. And my first time that I met this black man in a hat, it was years ago, and I was performing poetry in the community. It was a hot day in June. I'd never met him before. And so I'm spitting into the mic, and I'm just, I'm flowing. And all of a sudden, I heard this person. He sounded like Louis Armstrong. And he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I saw him gliding across the grass, and I continued to just float in my poetry, but I couldn't take my eyes off this man. I wanted to stop, but I just couldn't. And I learned that that was Mr. Ricardo Adams. I didn't know what was aligned for us, that I'd be your work wife at some point, but I ended up working with you here on the Board of Education for the Rochester City School District, right? And so now our paths have truly crossed, and I got to spend time with this gentleman, and I got to understand everything he is. And one of the things that I can say about you, Mr. Ricardo Adams, is that I admire is your tenacity and how, I think someone said you show up. And I saw you showing up in some of the most difficult fight you've been going through. And beside you, we sat and we supported, but you continued to show up. We have no excuse. And so I want to make sure that I acknowledge that openly in front of this room filled with people. You showed up, you showed up, you showed up, and you continue to show up now. And we also began to understand the love he had for his family, at least I did, because I was just getting to know you. Even the other day, he left a board meeting and was like, I think we can hear him on the mic. If you go back and play the video, he's saying it's Maya's birthday, and you see him walking off because he is committed to his family, both of his daughters. And the way your family is a testament to who you are, all of the work that you've done on behalf of this community. So I can, in my short tenure here, only aspire to be walking in the footsteps that you've laid before us. And my father, I had to ask him if I could borrow his hat for tonight. My father does not part with hats. And when I said, well, this is for Commissioner Adams, Daddy, let me just hold your hat. When I said Commissioner Adams, I didn't have to say anymore. He just gave it to me. He said, don't mess up my hat, bring it back. But he gave it to me because he respects you. So I just wanted to thank you for all of the hard work that you've done, continue to do. And as my father would say, we don't say goodbye. We just say, see you later.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. I'm told that Commissioner Malloy is on Zoom. Wondering if you would like to say a few words now, or you want to wait to the, oh, look at that. Work it, Commissioner Malloy. Commissioner Malloy.
So I'm sorry I can't be there in person tonight. I'm not feeling very well, and although I'm COVID negative, I didn't want to take any chances. I was really pleased that my hat got here on time. So I was able to, it just arrived today in the nick of time. Commissioner Adams, I want to say thank you so much for representing so honorably our community. I want to thank you for your commitment to all students and families in this district. Your love for our students is so evident, and as Commissioner Simmons said so eloquently, you show up. And so I want to thank you so much for the last 4 years, and I'm sure we will see you soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. And before we move on to Commissioner Powell, I just want to, I go back, how far we go back, Commissioner Adams? We go back a long way. We grew up in the Lewis Street Center days, and Scioto Street, Davis Street, all up in there. So, I've been knowing him for a very long time, and I just wish you well, and Godspeed to you, Commissioner Adams. Another round of applause. Thank you for all that you do and will continue to do. Commissioner Powell, it's your turn. Commissioner Powell has been here 24 and a half years. She is the librarian, the historian. I mean, she, when we go one way, she'll let us know what history has said and what we've done in the past. And that's been something that we have really appreciated, and all of her work that she's done on the policy committee. That is pretty detailed work, and her and the board staff has worked, along with the general counsel and others, have worked tirelessly to get our policy manual together. And that is one of the accomplishments that this board has accomplished this year. You'll be hearing more of the accomplishments in my board report this evening. But I want to have the Honorable Malik Evans to come forth and say a few words on behalf of Commissioner Powell. Mayor?
Thank you. And before I get to Commissioner Powell, I didn't want to interrupt you doing Commissioner Adams, but I have something for both of these people. But before I get to Commissioner Powell, I just want to say I liked Ricardo when I first met him because he was a Bills fan. And he wasn't a hater like some of you Cowboys fans or some of these other teams, Steelers and all these other people you got. But I've known Ricardo a long time before he even got into elected office. And I remember one board meeting. Ricardo signed up to be a speaker, and he probably said one sentence, and it was one of the most powerful sentences, and we changed the budget as a result of it. He came, and I never forget, he stood right over there. I was board president. This was probably, 2006, something like that, and it was a budget gap or something. He said, listen, man, now in my house, when we have challenges, we ain't cutting art and all the stuff that matters. We cutting the nonsense. Cut the nonsense. That's all I got to say. That was it. That was it. And that's why I respect this man, because he ain't a talker, he's a doer, number one. And number two, one of the things I realize in this business, and this is no shade on people's families, folks try to run for office and they can't take care of home. This man, and I know, I just had one of his daughters for lunch. We had one of his daughters for lunch for high students who do all the good stuff. His kids are a testament to the way that he lives. So he ain't running for office trying to do everything else in the community and not taking care of home. He takes care of home. So my advice for anybody that wants to run for school board or anything else, talk to Ricardo Adams. Talk to Mary Adams. They can tell you. They take care of home in addition to taking care of the community. And I can tell you a lot of folks that's in elected office can't do that. So on behalf of the city of Rochester, I have a special mayoral recognition for you, Ricardo, that I want to present to you. And thank you so much for your service to the board. And now Commissioner Willa Powell, who, Willa, I don't know how many, I was trying to Google to see how long it takes before you can call somebody an institution. But you've been here a very long time. I want to thank you for your service to the Rochester City School Board. The only people who really understand what it takes to be on the Board of Education are people who have been there. And I'll tell you, it's easy for the school district to be a whipping boy. And it's easy for me, as mayor, whenever there's a problem with the city school district, to stand on the steps of City Hall and talk about how bad everything is. But it takes a lot of service and a lot of sacrifice to serve on this board. I think this is one of the hardest jobs in America, is serving on a school board. And I don't say that lightly. Now, mayor's hard, but serving on a school board is one of the most difficult jobs that you can have, because you're dealing with people's children on a daily basis. And Commissioner Powell, you have served admirably. I always was very impressed with your institutional knowledge that you've had. And that's important to have that in an organization, that knowledge of what happened 10 years ago. What was the policy around that? I think that is extremely important, and you've always brought that to this job. I wish you well as you transition in your retirement from board service. And I know that you will leave a legacy as it relates to making sure that the policies are up to date, that the district is always remembering the policies. I know that was one of your favorite things. And I also want to give a shout out to another person that served with you in the 90s and in the early 2000s, Rob Brown, who's also here. Rob Brown was vice president of the board back in the day. So Rob, it's good seeing you as well. So Commissioner Powell, I have a recognition for you as well. Thanking you for your service. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and I'm sure you will continue to support the district even though you are no longer in elective office. So congratulations. And I'm going to sign up to speak for 3 minutes. Is there speakers today?
Come on back, Mr. Mayor. We got a place for you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your kind words towards Commissioner Powell. Our next speaker is from the treasurer of the New York State School Board Association. Commissioner Powell has served on the New York State School Board Association, representing this area for about 10 years or so. And so we have Tom Nispeka, am I pronouncing it right? Yeah, to come to speak on her behalf. Tom?
Thank you, Madam President. It's my honor to be here today. Willa and I started this journey together. Both of us were elected back in 1998. I haven't woken up yet and said enough is enough. Willa has. New York State, she served admirably for 10 plus years as the commissioner of the Big Five, representing the Big Five. That's a big task, because not only did she do stalwart service here in Rochester, she carried the flag for the students of the state of New York in the Big Five locations, which is Yonkers, New York City, Syracuse, Buffalo, and Rochester. That is a huge number of students. But when you work on that board, we just wanted to say thank you, because you're also representing the more than 2 million students in the state. We want the education to be the best we can do for the children. And Willa's gone with me to Washington, and Willa's gone with me to Albany, and we've done our best to speak for all students, no matter what their zip code, what their family socioeconomic status, to do the best we can for them. So on behalf of New York State, presented to Willa Powell with deep appreciation for outstanding service to New York State public school children from the New York State School Boards Service Association. Thank you, Willa.
Willa, Tom, they want to take a picture. Commissioner Powell, is that your husband? Is that your husband? So let's just give, you heard what Mayor Evans said in reference to families. I'd like to also give a round of applause to Don, because he just allowed, he let us have her for 24 and a half years, so, I mean, it takes a family, it really does, and family support, so we want to also honor him. And the last speaker in honor of Commissioner Powell is his honor, former president of who I follow on the Board of Education, Van Andre White. Your Honor.
Thank you, President Elliott. I did not have the chance to call you that in the years that I was here, but it's a blessing to be able to do that. I bet you are. Listen, first of all, I want to say, I love what you've done with the place. It looks, right, Malik? It looks beautiful. The other thing I wanted to say is, it may surprise some of you all to hear me say this, but it is good to be home. I think Ricardo referred to this as a family. And, you can have family arguments. Where's Beatrice? You can have family arguments and still be a member of a family. And I don't know if you all saw it. It wasn't for show. But I gave her a big hug, and she gave me a big hug. Because that happens in families. Families are driven by emotion, driven by a purpose. And we're all here. We may seek to do that differently. And I feel very blessed, President Elliott, to be back home. I do want to say that my comments are going to reflect both my work with Commissioner Powell as well as Commissioner Adams, because they are both part of our family. And so while many of you over the years have watched the public debates and participated in them, and you've even had private conversations at the water cooler about our differences, I want you to know that if you focus on the careers of Commissioner Powell and Commissioner Adams, they share at least one thing in common. Both Willa and Ricardo were and are exceptional parents. You can applaud that because it deserves to be applauded. Who were committing to see that their children and every child of the Rochester School District received, and I quote, a high-quality education so that each child can achieve and become a productive member of society. Now that should sound familiar to some of you because that is right off the district's website. It is our vision statement. Now both Ricardo and Willa had a hand in creating that vision statement. I remember those meetings. However, as Willa and Ricardo will tell you, and they know full well, having the capacity to write a statement is different than having the strength, resilience, courage, and selflessness to see it through. Over the years, I've witnessed these two individuals do what I don't know that many people could do, which is to make that vision statement happen. It was not easy for them or their families, but they knew that for decades, it has not been easy for tens of thousands of district families and students. And so they made the sacrifices that they needed to make it happen for those families. So thank you, Willa, and thank you, Ricardo, for the decades of sacrifices that you made to do this very important work. Ricardo, I know, for example, that you've had some significant health-related challenges during your years on the Board of Education. Some days I would notice from the DS that you would not take the mic because you might be struggling that particular day. But throughout it all, Ricardo, there is no doubt you never lost your voice for the students, family, and people of this community. And I want you to know I appreciate you for that. And Willa, you too never lost your voice or your way. I can recall on occasion, some of my colleagues may remember this, we used to just have one screen. I don't know if you remember that, President Elliott, just one screen. And Willa would be participating at a board meeting virtually. And she would be in some mountain retreat or some campsite, and she would drive to wherever she could go to. You remember that, Ricardo? To get the signal. And I would say, Commissioner Powell, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Commissioner Powell? And she'd fade in and fade out. But through all that, she never lost her way or her voice. She understood that the meeting that she was missing was the meeting that was important, even if it meant she had to spend time away from her family. Indeed, over her 24 plus years and Ricardo's 4 years that they served, how many phone calls from their children and their spouses went into voicemail? How many family dinners did they miss? If you asked them, they would not know, because they were selflessly and exclusively focused on the children of this district to ensure, once again, that every student had access to a high-quality education so that each could graduate and become a productive and responsible member of our society. So I'd like to conclude my remarks by asking you to join me in a standing ovation, not just for Ricardo and Willa, but also stand in thanks to Don, Anna, Margaret, Abigail, Alex, Mary, Sarah, and Maya. Thank you all for the sacrifices you've made for all of our community. God bless and thanks. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have another presentation by Assemblyman Meeks on behalf of Commissioner Powell. Assemblyman Meeks.
Commissioner, if you want to come this way, please. Thank you. We go back, what, about 20 some odd years? I remember when we were, when Malik was running for school board for the first time, and we're out on a campaign trail. This was like late October, and I'm like, bro, listen, all right, we're gonna hit these doors, but Trina might be calling any minute saying she's going to labor, so if she going to labor, we gotta go. So we keep up with his political career by way of my youngest daughter, which has been 20 years, and that's when he joined you on the school board. And just want to say thank you for your years of service, and thank you for your leadership here on the school board as well. And we have a proclamation for you as well, recognizing Commissioner Willa Powell, family woman, distinguished citizen, and devoted member of her community. Whereas there are certain outstanding members of our community who, through their selfless commitment and dedication, have had a measurable positive impact by serving to better the quality of life in our community. Commissioner Willa Powell is one such individual. And whereas Willa Powell is a PTO member at Francis Parker School 23 and School of the Arts, and has served as a PTS officer at Nathaniel Rochester and as a representative to the District Parent Council. She is a member of Metro Justice, NYPIRG, and the International Caesarean Awareness Network. And whereas Willa Powell also serves as the national president of the Citizens of Midwifery, president of Rochester Area Birth Network, vice president of the Rochester chapter of the National Organization for Women, NOW, and serves on the finance committee of the Finger Lakes Trail Conference. Now therefore be it proclaimed that this Rochester legislative delegation pause in their deliberations to honor the work, dedication, and accomplishments of Commissioner Willa Powell. And be it further proclaimed that a copy of this proclamation be transmitted to Commissioner Willa Powell. Signed, Harry Bronson, Assemblymember Harry Bronson, Senator Jeremy Cooney, Assemblywoman Sarah Clark, Senator Summer Brook, Assemblymember Jennifer Lunsford, and yours truly, Assemblyman Damon Meeks. Thank you.
Commissioner Powell, why don't you just remain up? Yeah, what we do without cameras, right? Thank God for Kodak, right? So on behalf of the Board of Education, Commissioner Powell, we want to present to you this token of our appreciation to Willa Powell with heartfelt appreciation and gratitude for your commitment and leadership as Commissioner of the Rochester Board of Education, serving 24, they didn't put the half down, but serving 24 years of service. And so we want to just thank you and present that to you. And then I'll also have thank you. So I'll also just have, oh, come on and speak, and then I'll have, if you want to say anything, have more colleagues to speak.
People don't usually remember what I have to say. So Rob Brown laughs because he knows it's so true. In fact, sometimes they don't, when we were running for office, I remember Rob turned to me and said, you know, folks really aren't paying attention to what you have to say, but I think you're the smartest person in the room. And I didn't say it. I'm just quoting Rob. And that's, and that's why he pretty much championed me my first election. But I say that to say, people do not remember what I say. So I am glad to leave a legacy of what I have done that cannot be forgotten. Between the policy manual, the managed choice policy, which has endured not only for 20 years, but has recently been updated and will endure at least another 20 years. And that's why I committed myself to these slideshow presentations, because this isn't about what one board member does. I want to honor all of the board members who have come before me. And some of them are have quite a story to tell, and stories that were fundamentally lost to history. When I went looking to find out who on the board had served as long as I have, or longer than I have, I had to go all the way back to when elected boards first came into existence in 1917. There was only one person that really stood out. I mean, there were a couple, like James Duffy, who served 26 years, I think, but some of them were as a mayoral appointed board member. The one that stands out to me was a fellow by the name of Charles Ray, W-R-A-Y. He was first appointed to the position in 1916, and therefore, and then was elected 8 times after that, once elected boards came into existence. He served 34 years and died in office. And I'm not going to die in office. I'm sorry. I'll give you my last breath. No, I'll give you my second last breath, but I am not dying in office. So, so when things were getting difficult on my health, I decided not to run again. Things have turned around a bit, I'm happy to say. So I'm looking at this not as my full-fledged retirement, but I'm contemplating it being my gap year coming up, where I can retire. And, you know, studies have been done on people who retire. They usually check everything off of their bucket list in the first year or two, and then they cast about looking for purpose again. So, you know, I'm sort of keeping the door open for a run in 2025, you know. But I'm just thinking about it, so don't make me come back here. Okay?
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Could we have a picture of all the past board members?
Yeah, let me just have, I want the commissioners to say a few words in your honor as well. Let me start with Commissioner Malloy. Would you like to say a few words in honor of Commissioner Powell?
Absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to say, in addition to wearing a hat in honor of Commissioner Adams tonight, I also am wearing a brooch that you can't really see very clearly, but I have another one here that I'll hold up. And if you can see that, it's a little bee. And I had actually purchased them for all the cabinet members and board members to wear tonight, but I'm under the weather, so I'm at home. But I do have these, and I'll be giving them to you, Commissioner Powell. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your commitment to our community. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for your example. And you are really appreciated. And although we're losing our historian, I feel like we have gained an understanding of the needed knowledge that's required to create and maintain policy. You've created a legacy. You've been so collaborative on all matters during your tenure. You truly are a busy bee, Willa, and I thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Any other board member would like to speak this evening? Okay, Commissioner.
I'd like to say something, please.
All right, Commissioner Adams is coming up. Can I get to you next, Commissioner Patterson? After Commissioner Adams?
So first of all, I'd like to say something to Willa's family. I know this is how you spell relief all them years. This is because, boy, my family is definitely not having that with me. 24 years, absolutely not. I will be honest with you here. Me and Willa, sometimes we bump heads. We don't always be on the same vibe. But she was such a valuable asset to this board. And no disrespect to you, Adrian, because the same thing is applicable to Steve and every other attorney. She used to even give advice to the lawyers. This how long she been here, part of this here. She knew everything. And sometimes I had to go to her and learn a few things myself, man. So you are definitely going to be missed. And you did way more good than I could. And so that's what I'm focusing on, man. Hats off to you.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
All right, I'm going to stay off camera. I'm really not feeling that well. I've been sick for a couple days now, so I apologize. Hold on one second. Hold on.
We can't hear you, Commissioner Patterson.
All right, I just had something happen here, burst, but
Okay, we can hear you now.
okay. But I'd also I apologize first of all for not being there in person. But Willa, I just can't say enough about you. I love you as a friend. I thank you for being my friend. I thank you for being in my corner. I thank you for fighting battles for me. I thank you for your knowledge. I thank you for picking up the phone at wee hours in the morning or late hours at night and answering and responding to my questions. I thank you for everything you've given me and the knowledge I have now dealing with policy, let alone everything else that a board member, is supposed to do and how we're supposed to act and how we're supposed to respond. I just thank you for being a great individual. I'm going to really, really miss you. I'm going to miss our conversations. I'm going to miss you sitting next to me. And I'm not just saying this, you are truly, truly an icon to, this board. And I don't think what you've done, anyone would ever be able to replace. I wouldn't go anywhere near policy, the great job that, you've done. So, enjoy your retirement because we never know when today is our last day. So go off into the blue yonder and, enjoy yourself and your husband and your family. And I hope to see you around here and there. And I'm definitely going to be calling you for coffee and for questions. So, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Just because you're off the board, to piggyback on what Commissioner Patterson is saying, we still need your insight and your experience. So we will, 3 minutes at a time. Any other board members interested in speaking at this time? All right, yeah. So, but I know it's time to go, but I will not let this moment go without having our superintendent to also say a few words, and then we'll end after that. Dr. Peluso? Y'all see how he's breaking down that hat?
So I do have some remarks in my board presentation today as well, but I think what we've learned today and what you continue to learn is that we've lost 2 great people from our board, right? All other things aside, as human beings, they're always there to do the right thing for our kids. I said that, and I'll say in my remarks, Commissioner Adams is a role model, right? He's a great example. If there's a battle, he's ready to fight it in a way to teach people how to fight a battle, right? He does it the right way. And Commissioner Powell is a remarkable historian, right? We've heard it here, we've heard it, I've been watching these slides, trying to memorize them. But it's remarkable what she remembers in terms of what paths we shouldn't be going down again, what has happened prior, and what it is. And not to make light of it, you could see Commissioner Powell every now and then coming out of the records room, and she's beaming because she found something from the 1800s and 1900s, and that's where she constantly is remembering and doing. If we lose that as a district, right, because you need someone that has that level of historical knowledge, and that's a remarkable loss for us. So, like I said, it's a sad day because beyond what they bring to the board, we lose 2 wonderful, great people. So thank you on behalf of the Rochester City School District children for what you gave to this community and this district. And we all love you for it. Thank you.
So just want to thank everyone for coming out. This was wonderful, but like I said at the beginning, it is bittersweet. But know that your legacies are going to continue. We're going to be better in 2024 than we were in 2023, and a lot of that has to do with the foundation you both have laid. So thank you very much and congratulations. And this concludes this reception on behalf of Commissioners Adam and Commissioners Powell. Thank you very much, and we'll reconvene for the business meeting in 5 minutes. Thank you all for coming. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is the Rochester Board of Education business meeting. Today is December 23rd, 2023. I want to welcome you to our business meeting. I'm going to ask, I'm going to call the meeting to order and ask Commissioner Powell, if you wouldn't mind leading us off in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Our next order of business is the upcoming Board of Education events. And I'm going to have Rahima Wynn to go through the events for the month, or for January.
Good evening, President Elliott, Vice President LeBron, community. For January 2024, we will begin January with our annual reorganizational meeting on January 2nd, and that meeting will start at 6 p.m. Thursday, January 4th, we will follow that with the board work session, where the board will discuss their goals as well as the East EPO. On Tuesday, January 9th, the board will host a special meeting to discuss the RCSD strategic plan, followed by the CIGR meeting. On Tuesday, January 16th, we will have the ESA committee, followed by the special meeting for consideration of resolutions. On Tuesday, January 23rd, we will host the HR committee meeting, followed by the board business meeting on Thursday, January 25th. Speakers who wish to address the board may register by contacting the Board of Education via phone at 262-8525 or email at boardofelducation@rcsdk12.org by noon on the day of the meeting. The board is continuously recruiting for parent representatives and is currently looking for a parent representative for the Policy Development and Review Committee. Parents who are interested may apply at rcsdk12.org/BOE parent rep. And individuals may also access the board meeting calendar at www.rcsdk12.org/BOE calendar. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is minutes. We don't have any minutes at this time, Rahima? All right, thank you. And then the next item on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is our advisor, our speakers. And so we have Maria Garcia. Is she here?
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity. I just attended a bit of your reception, so unfortunately I do have to be the bearer of bad news that my conversation here will not be as welcoming. And it's sad to say that the experiences that many of these families have talked about is not mine with RCSD. My daughter is Mia Garcia. She is a student at Rice 106. She has autism, and I am here as her advocate today, so please take anything that I say as a mother, not as a professional. So my concerns stem as the following. I have had the worst communication with this district in the last 4 years. Like I mentioned, my daughter has been moved to 3 different schools in 3 years. And in those 3 years, it has been a fight every single year, from services provided to what is explained to me in policy. So, Mrs. Powell, thank you in advance for whatever policy you are writing. I look forward to reading them and also supporting them in any way that I can. But with that said, one of the policies I was told about is that the RCSD acknowledges a 10-day notice for IEP meetings. And that was brought to me by Suzanne Bucci recently, because my daughter's IEP meeting has been moved now a month and a half in advance. And I reached out to Mrs. Simmons. Thank you so much for responding to my email and my communication. And I spoke with Christine Swan, which, by the way, I'm still waiting on a response, Ms. Simmons, from her. It's been now a week, over 2 weeks. And then I attended the CPAC meeting to hope that I could get more information on whether or not, what this transition is gonna look like, because yet again, my daughter was moved to a new school. There's not one for parents, there's not. And if for those who don't know, a child with autism requires routine, consistency, and they need that. I don't have that. 3 schools in 3 years is ridiculous. You know, and I get that we're moving towards this plan, but I'm not hearing anything for parents. I'm the one that a month before school has to drive her back and forth to show her what that looks like. I am the one who has to sit in a classroom and advocate to what her needs are. An example of how I know this isn't happening was her evaluation. So I did request one, as I am also trying to seek OPWDD services. And guess what? I was never consulted. No one reached out to me. Her evaluation stated this was completed without parent. My phone number has been the same for 10 years. I'm standing here before you. My email works. Ms. Powell is an example. Everyone I have spoken to on this board has reached me, yet I could not be reached for my daughter's evaluation. No Vanderbilt was sent to me, no nothing. And this is the kind of thing we cannot continue happening. So I'm asking you here to please, don't let my scholar fall through. I have now had to place 2 of my kids out of the district because I don't have a vote of confidence in RCSD. I am a product of RCSD, and luckily I am blessed to have been able to graduate from Franklin High School with honors, 3rd in my class, continue to college, get my BA, and push back for my community. So I stand here not just as a parent, but as an advocate for my community. Please do better. We cannot let our SPED kids fall through. And Ms. Elliott, I had the pleasure of meeting with you once in your office over at Freddie Thomas, and I thank you for that time. But here we are again. Last year I met with you, and I'm here again. So please take this into consideration when we're doing the strategic planning. Kids don't need to be moved all this many times. If it isn't broken, why are we changing it? And what benefit is my daughter receiving but inconsistency? And so with that, I thank you again for your time, and I look forward to hearing some email responses this time, you think, Ms. Simmons? I appreciate you.
Thank you. Trent Jackson?
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. I'm here basically to address some things that were said. Last month, I had some pastors, the roundtable that was with me. We was talking about the Franklin girls basketball team along with myself. Afterwards, I looked at the YouTube live, and I realized there was comments being said. Basically, it was 2 comments that were said, and the comments was made by Cameron Johnson, the athletic director over the city school district. She basically tried to discredit us, saying that what we said, there was a lot of lies. Well, she didn't say a lot of lies. She was like, a lot of that's not true. My thing is, in a platform of this nature, if something is not true, let's find out what's not true. For the fact, when I went to Franklin, when Chris Bianchi, the coach, asked me to come help him out, as soon as we got 40 girls that was eligible to play, that was ready to play, the first thing that we got from the city school district was there was no money for these girls to play basketball. There was no money for these girls to play basketball. So along with Chris Bianchi and myself, we treated it like AAU basketball. We started trying to raise money for these girls. And now I come to find out that Chris Bianchi basically has been disciplined for raising money for the girls to have a basketball team, in which the city school district said the girls could not have a basketball team because it wasn't in their budget. So we want to talk about truth. I want to find out what's going on with the truth. Because then when I hear say, okay, you can't get a Division III or junior college scholarship. We all know that. Well, I'm not gonna say we all know that, but I know you can't get an athletic scholarship. But as a coach, if I got the skills and if I got the connections to be able to call a coach at a Division III school or a junior college, ask him to put one of my players on his team, give them a spot, and let's come up with a package so our player won't have to pay to go to that school. See, to me, that's a scholarship too. So when we want to try to discredit something successful, I want to understand, why are we keeping people in places that's basically promoting things that's not successful? Because we got plenty programs in Rochester at this moment in the city school district that are not successful. I just talked to a coach that coached for 20 years. Didn't know that the online credit didn't know that online credit recovery is difficult for a child to get a full scholarship because of that. But you've been coaching the district for over 20 years. So my thing is, if we got people that's not really trying to help our kids get to the next level, why are we disciplining the people that are trying to get our kids to the next level? That's the question I have. I'm with Chris Bianchi. I don't have many people in the city school district. I know the word is going around. Chris Bianchi is this, Chris Bianchi is that. I can tell you this, I done picked up the phone plenty of times and I can call Chris Bianchi about getting the kid to the next level. And he helped. I did that countless times, and he did that. No, I wasn't working for the city school district, but I knew parents who knew me to ask, how can we get our kid to the next level? And I was able to call Chris, and he was able to pick up the phone, and we got that kid to the next level. So why are we not promoting real programs? Why are we not promoting things that get our kids to the next level? All I see is programs that are seasonal. Coaches that come in at the beginning of the year, work with the kids. As soon as the season is over, they really have nothing to do with the kids, and everything is done. That's not a real program. We need to help our kids and really get real programs and stop disciplining the people that are really trying to be for our kids.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. The next item on the agenda is our advisory council reports, and so I'm going to start with David Bunyan for the student advisory council report.
Thank you, President Elliott. So the Student Leadership Congress had their 4th monthly meeting on December 20th. And this meeting, every single high school came to represent their schools. The Student Leadership Congress this month had the special opportunity of having Anton Williams of the Rochester Works program to present an exclusive employment opportunity coming up soon for youth in Rochester from ages 14 to 21. This opportunity is similar to that of Summer of Opportunity, but running from January to June, with the eligibility following income guidelines. The application for this program will come out in January. The Student Leadership Congress also had the pleasure of having President of the Board of Education, Cynthia Elliott, come to join us for our December 20th meeting to listen on our conversation on how the Student Leadership Congress deliberates in its meeting. On behalf of the Student Leadership Congress, I thank President Elliott for in her dedication to join us and to be so committed in student voice. In student news, Monday 18th, Wilson High School had its induction ceremony to the National Honor Society. Our very own Vice President Hazel Roberts was inducted into the National Honor Society, who is always committed to helping students and the people around her. As of right now, is taking part in a food drive for families in need in the Rochester area. The Student Leadership Congress thanks Hazel for her commitment to leadership and her effort to help others. The Student Leadership Congress to progress its plan for universal student government is currently progressing and writing their charter to send to school faculty. This document will be released later when finished. However, the in-progress draft is currently viewable and accessible on a need-based access. If anyone of the community or board would like to see this document before it's released, can contact the Student Leadership Congress to access it. I'd like to thank the Board of Education for their support, the superintendent, the president, staff, teachers, and most importantly, the students that make this work possible and the reason why we show up. And also, President Elliott, I would like to make some comments for Commissioner Powell and Ricardo Adams.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, Commissioner Powell, you have been a monumental support to the students of the Leadership Congress and have been such a wave of support for helping us push out our bylaws, a document that will transcend me and hopefully this board. You have cemented and allowed us to put forth policy that will transcend all of us. So your dedication to students in this board, thank you. And to Commissioner Adams, I don't think there's enough words to really graph how much dedication you have to this community, especially action. I know I said this word transcend a lot. I think that's my favorite word for tonight. But for example, you know, the way Maya and Sarah act in our meetings and the way I see them around the community. And so I just know that you as a father, and especially a father figure to this whole community, you know, it transcends all of that. So thank you for not just being a board member, a person of this community, but also a father and a father figure to not just your daughters, but also to members of SLC, Teen Empowerment, MBK, YVOV, you know, every single youth kind of center in this whole city. So thank you both. And thank you, Ms. Elliott.
All right, thank you. And the next advisory council report is the Parent Leadership Advisory Council. Someone here to present that report? Okay, Catherine?
Oh, I didn't know I was presenting the report this evening. Give me just 1 minute. If you could go ahead to BEC, I'll take care of that next, okay?
Is the bilingual someone to present for the Bilingual Education Council?
Yes, Pablo is on too.
All right.
Good
Hello,
evening.
Pablo. Good evening.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this Zoom opportunity, by the way. We've had some sicknesses at home, so this is This is really wonderful. The VEC held its monthly meeting on Tuesday, December 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. This was a very well-attended meeting.
You're freezing, Pablo.
Required extra seating to accommodate the group. There were families in attendance. Was that in my back?
You're freezing? Wonder if we can go to back to the plaque report and then come back to
Can you
him.
hear me now? Or?
Yeah, see if you could just go audio, Pablo.
Okay, let me see if this works. All right, so on December 12th, the BEC held its monthly meeting from 5 to 7 p.m. This was a very well-attended meeting. We had many new families in the district participate. An opening address was made by Commissioner Elliott to the parents to welcome them to RCSD, and this was a very moving experience for many of the families and the parents. There were several who admitted that they'd never been received this way by an educational group, and it was very touching for them to have Commissioner Elliott in the room. We also had a presentation by Chief Academic Officer Stephen Lamorte, and he presented the district's vision for instructional excellence and addressed these 4 major aspects of the vision statement. And then we had feedback and responses from the parents. And then we had a presentation about the school reconfiguration plan, how parents with students are going to apply from 6th to 7th, 8th to 9th, and so forth. And the executive director of bilingual education and world languages opened the presentation by sharing the schools by zone and discussing which schools have bilingual programs. And we also had a conversation about the special lottery. Parents had an opportunity to ask questions, and we circulated a question box with index cards. So we have a busy couple of months coming up. On January 3rd, we will host a 3 Kings Day celebration at the David F. Gant Center at 700 North Street, and parents have been asked to pre-register for this event. And we think that some members of the board will also attend, so we're excited about that. So I'll quickly summarize this in Spanish as well, and apologies for the technical difficulties. El BEC celebró su reunión mensual el martes 12 de diciembre. La reunión contó con una gran asistencia y se necesitaron sillas adicionales para acomodar a las familias. La comisionada Elliott pronunció un discurso de apertura y dio la bienvenida a las familias nuevas que están llegando a nuestro distrito. Después tuvimos la presentación de Stephen Lamorte, el director académico, quien expuso la visión del distrito y la declaración de la visión. Los padres tuvieron comentarios y respuestas, y después pasamos al plan sobre reconfiguración escolar y sus varias opciones que tenemos para escoger programas bilingües. Y finalmente terminamos con el anuncio de que tendremos el Día de los Reyes Magos en el Gant Center el 3 de enero. Todos están más que invitados. Y nuestra próxima reunión será el 13 de febrero del 2024. And that concludes the BEC report. Apologize for the video issues, and thank you so much and happy holidays.
Thank you, Pablo. Happy holidays to you and all the members of the Bilingual Education Council. Let me go back to Parent Leadership Council to see if she's ready. You ready?
Yeah, I'm here, and I would just like to point out that I was actually not slated to do this. I'm here to read the CPAC report this evening, and I have not received the okay from Plaque to read their report this evening. So you all have it, and I could go ahead and do CPAC if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I just want to respect everybody's wishes and make sure that I'm not doing something that people are not wanting. Okay, good evening, President Ellett, Vice President LeBron, Commissioners, Superintendent Peluso, and other distinguished guests. I would first like to stop and pause for a second and uplift the parent, Maria, who spoke earlier. We hear those kinds of frustrations a lot in CPAC, and I really feel for her, and I just wanted her to know that. The Special Education Parent Advisory Council, or CPAC, held their monthly meeting a week ago on Monday, December 11th via Zoom. We had approximately 30 people in attendance. At our meeting, the Special Education Department presented on the continuum of service that they are working on for the 2024-25 school year and how that is impacted by the district's reconfiguration plan. We would like to thank them for taking the time to present this to us. Clearly, this is a complicated process with many moving pieces. When this process is complete, we would like this document to be available to parents in printed form as it has been in previous years. We were also very pleased to hear that the Special Education Department is working on contacting each family under their care impacted by the reconfiguration plan. This is fantastic. Knowing that it can be very difficult to reach our parents, however, it is hoped that this reaching out will entail several attempts in several ways at several times of the day when initial attempts are unsuccessful. I would like to note that the following paragraph that I'm about to read has been edited from the report that was submitted to the board last night. A concern that we have about what was presented about the reconfiguration plan and how that impacts the special ed kids, however, was noted. We have been told throughout this process that cohorts of children will be kept together as much as possible, as consistency is extremely important to this population. We also understand that no such guarantees can be made regarding teachers, making keeping kids together ever so much more important. However, at this meeting, it was mentioned to us for the first time that the zone each child in would be prioritized in their placement next year. As the author of this report, I will note that Chief Swan has indicated since its submission that this is not the case. However, in reviewing the video of the presentation that was given to CPAC, the information was not clear and appeared that contradictory statements were being made. CPAC would hope that this will be made more explicitly clear moving forward. On another note, CPAC is planning on making our hugely successful resource fair an annual event. We are starting this planning process now. Our last one was held in September at the beginning of the school year. We would love to see the board members attend this time. However, we will have a date and location secured before our next board report so that you may save the date. Our next meeting will be on January 22nd via Zoom. The Zoom link may be obtained by emailing CPAC at rcsdsepac@gmail.com. We are always grateful for the support of the Special Education Department and our community partners at our meetings. It would be great to see some board members attend well to listen directly to the concerns of the special education parents. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the advisory council reports, and so there's no executive session, and so we will go down to board reports. But before I do that, let me just acknowledge that Commissioner Malloy is on Zoom, as well as Commissioner Patterson. I don't believe that Commissioner Patterson will be on video, but he is listening in, and so he has a report, and Commissioner Powell will read his report at that time. Well, it's coming up, so first report. So the audit report on behalf of Commissioner James Patterson, Commissioner Powell will read his report. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam President. The audit committee met on on Tuesday, December 5th. The committee met with Drescher and Malecki LLP, the external auditor, to discuss the June 30, 2023 financial audit results. The annual comprehensive financial report, the ACFR, includes the opinion on the district financial statements. There's also a separate reports for student extracurricular activity funds and the single audit for federal funds. With the board's acceptance of these final reports, this concludes the first year of our contractual relationship with Drescher and Malecki LLP as our independent auditor. Resolution 531 is requesting board acceptance of the independent auditor's report, student extracurricular activity funds report, and single audit report These reports will also be filed with the Commissioner of Education and State Comptroller. I'd like to move at this time Resolution 531 to
So
accept.
moved.
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
All in-
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next audit committee meeting is scheduled for March 19th, 2024, and that concludes this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. The next committee report is ESA. Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, President Elliott. The Equity and Student Achievement Committee met as a committee of the whole on Tuesday, December 12th. The board reviewed and accepted the minutes from the November 14th ESA meeting. The consent decree coordinator Richmond and Chief Swan provided, Desiree Richmond, excuse me, and Chief Swan provided the annual consent decree presentation. RCSD has made progress towards benchmarks and will continue working towards goals. Network presentations were given by Chief White for Network 1, Chief Santana for Network 2, and Chief Morian for Network 3. Bright spots and best practices across the networks were discussed. The collective needs of the networks from the board were also briefly touched on. Lastly, there was a teaching and learning update. Chief Lamort provided the quarterly presentation regarding RCSD iReady data and overall assessment of iReady performance. Areas of success and areas for growth were discussed. The next ESA committee meeting will take place on Tuesday, January 16th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next report is the Finance Committee report. Vice President LeBron.
Thank you. I'm going to start. The Finance Committee met as Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, December 19, 2023. During that meeting, the committee discussions focused on the following items. The board reviewed and accepted the minutes from the October 17, 2023 Finance Committee of the Whole. Myself provided an opportunity for commissioners to ask questions regarding the January 2024 draft resolutions, and commissioners were encouraged to submit questions via the board question log. Commissioners discussed the past practice of developing board budget priorities that did not align with established board goals. Vice President LeBron, which is myself, suggested the board move away from this practice and align the budget priorities to achieve the established goals. Commissioners agreed and were reminded of the January 4th board work session to finalize their goals. Chief Farr reviewed the December 2023 unaudited financial report. November data included projected charter school enrollments and expenses. And at this time, can I have a motion to approve the district's unaudited December?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by President Elliott, seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Chief Farr provided an update on the 2024-25 revenue projections, providing variance explanations and general fund revenues descriptions. Chief Farr explained that we are very early in the budgeting process and current projections are estimations only, and the claims auditor, Naraki Smith, were unable to attend due to a conflict. Commissioners, however, were provided with the November report via board docs with an opportunity to submit questions through the Auditor General Henry Wheeler. So I apologize because I did say it was the board clerk, but it is our Auditor General Henry Wheeler who manages those questions to the external claims auditor. And at this time, can I have a motion to approve the November claims audit report? Motioned by President Elliott, seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to that? None. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And the next in-person Finance Committee meeting is February 27th at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. And the next committee report is policy. Commissioner Powell.
Yes, thank you. I don't have the usual laundry list of policies to, that need to go through the works because we're at the end. The board reviewed, the Committee of the Whole met also on December 5th. The board reviewed and accepted the minutes. Council Neal provided a review of the NYSBA policy recommendations. Suspension presentation was provided. Deputy Turner presented with, including a 5-year suspension trend. We then had a presentation by Senior Research Analyst Charisma Travis the policy's manual status and essentially how we're going to walk through the policy review going forward. And then we had discussion around the board bylaws, which some of the changes weren't ready for prime time, I guess. Folks weren't ready to embrace them. We do, however, have a resolution to amend the bylaws with some technical changes only. And then the following policy was presented tonight, policy 8130.2, workplace violence prevention. The next policy committee of the whole will be Tuesday, February 6th.
Commissioner Powell, we have another presentation for you. I'm going to have General Counsel Neal to do that. General Counsel Neal?
Yes, thank you very much, President Elliott. Outside of the board president, I don't think there's any commissioner I've worked with closer due to my work with the policy committee. I have seen Commissioner Powell in action now for 2 years. And I know she said earlier that when she speaks, no one listens, but I listened. And if Charisma was here, I think she'd say she listened as well.
It's a short list.
I've said this before. I think Commissioner Powell has a gift for language. I've seen her adeptly navigate and get the board to resolutions on thorny issues through the use of that language. I've seen her be magnanimous, with her character, and generous with her time and with her information and her ability to recall things historically. I think she would have made a great lawyer. I'm glad she's I'm glad she was a commissioner. I was very fortunate to work with her. There's a saying: teach a man to fish, and you feed him for one day. Give a man a fish, you feed him for one day, teach him to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. I equate the work that you did with the policies of the district as teaching people to fish, giving them the tools to answer questions. And as somebody who answers questions all day long, I understand how important this is. So I want to thank the president for giving me the honor of presenting the completed district policy manual.
I think I have already read it.
Yeah.
I think I know how it ends.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. And this is going to be your last report. So we thank you very much. As we just had a great celebration for you, as well as Commissioner Adams. And I tell you, people spoke very highly of you and the work that you've done. So thank you so very much. We appreciate it. Another round of applause for Commissioner Powell. And the last board report is my report. And I just wanted to, again, the great celebration that we just had for our two commissioners. And also, Commissioner Malloy, we just want to give you a shout out. Your birthday was yesterday. And just want to give you a shout out and say happy birthday to you. And,
thank you so much. Thank you for the cake, by the way.
You're welcome. You're
President
welcome.
Elliott makes the best butter cake in the world, so I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And then I just want to thank the superintendent and his staff for an amazing, and when I say amazing, an amazing holiday luncheon yesterday. I mean, people came and they showed up for it. And I know that people were just so appreciative of it. It's been, some people have never experienced that. I know I had not. And others, it may have been a long time ago, years and years ago, if that has happened before. But just want to thank the superintendent again and his staff for such an amazing luncheon. And I think that that's just going to bode well for us coming together and working on behalf of our students and families. So, and I know you're reporting that too, so thank you very much. I just want to say to my commissioners that we're asking, and I'm asking this on behalf of the board, of our board staff, we would like for you to answer your emails as quickly as quickly as you can and to respond back. There are certain emails that the board staff has sent out and our commissioners are not responding, so I'm going to ask you all to be mindful that we respond to those emails. And if we don't hear from those emails, we just have to make the assumptions that we can move on in the direction that we think that we need to go. So we really do need your input, your valuable input into this work. And I just want to remind commissioners also that if we only have 4 members at the dais, and if one leaves, the committee, the meeting has to be suspended. So I just want to be mindful of that in the future. And then I also wanted to just report on, we do this work, we grind, and we don't take the time to celebrate or to acknowledge the work that we've done. So I'm taking a moment, because it's the end of the year, to just acknowledge the work that this board has been able to accomplish. So if you would just bear with me as I read some of this. First of all, we updated the policy manual, and that's complete. Commissioner Powell led 3 years of dedicated efforts, resulted in the successful completion of an entire manual update. We've reduced the meeting calendar, recognizing the need for efficiency. We committed to reducing our meeting calendar, addressing the frequency of board meetings. We had a unanimous vote on the president and vice president, which signifies a crucial step in shaping a new narrative for collaborative work and advancing our district. And I'd also just like to say that we've been able to, we still have some improvement to make, but this board has been able to work together collaboratively on the work that we need to do for our students and our families. And it's been recognized and it's been noticeable that we've been working collaboratively together. One of the things that I enjoy, and this is not, in my view, a dysfunction, but I love it when we're able to go deep on an issue. I know that Commissioner Adams and I, some of us went sort of deep on an issue, and I really appreciated that because we don't always have all the answers individually. And so that's not, in my mind, a exercise in dysfunction, but a exercise in trying to get on a deeper level and understand it. So I appreciate when we have those kinds of conversations. We appointed Dr. Peluso as the official superintendent of our school district. We've done some interpersonal work with collaborating with Dr. Muhammad, and really working on the kinds of personal attributes and how we can sort of mesh those personal attributes together. We saw a transition in a new state monitor. We updated the code of conduct, fulfilling our annual requirement. We appreciate all those volunteers, including students, community, staff members, who worked on that. We had some community engagement opportunities where the board has been present at those community engagement forums. And we talked about school reconfiguration, just had some board conversations. We had a unanimous vote on the budget. It was a smoother process, led by our own Vice President LeBron. We had a very successful legislative breakfast. We had great students who participated in that. We've all been a part of, to help us to do this work, we've all been a part of professional development learnings. And so some of us have gone to Council Gray City Schools, some of us have gone to NSBA, some of us have gone to Harvard to try to get the learning that we needed in order to impact our district in a positive way. And lastly, in terms of the things that we've been able to, well, not the last thing, but just in terms of the work that we're doing, I see it as supporting the vision of us being the #1 school district in the world. So I'm just excited for the work that we've done. I think this has been an exciting year, an exceptional, excuse me. an exceptional year, and I'm looking forward. I believe that the next year is going to be even more exceptional. We're going to have even more successes, and I'm looking forward to that. And so I just want to thank this board for its hard work of what we've been able to accomplish. And again, I think that there are many people who are seeing this work that we've been accomplished. And then just a couple other things. I just wanted to say that I had the privilege of being at the Student Leadership Congress meeting last night. I stayed the whole time. Well, I stayed there because I had to get my dish back because, I had made peach cobbler for Student Leadership Congress. So I had to stay there to get my dish back. But let me just say this. I will put those kids up against any students in the world, bar none. If you had, I'm telling you, listen. I saw them and how they operate and how they engage. This board can learn from them. I'm telling you, this board can learn from them because they engage, they thought out things. There was a lot of thinking going on. There was it was great. And what you were doing this for was the governance document for the student governments. Am I correct in that? They did a great job on that. And listen, I just sat. Now I have to say, I said this to the superintendent, he has one person who doesn't like him, and that's the person who doesn't like us all. So you probably have an idea of who I'm talking about. So I just told him he's in good graces with that person. And so don't worry about that. Keep doing the work you're doing. So just want to thank him for inviting me at that meeting. And I just had a great time. And I just saw, the gems that we have in this district. And so that concludes my report. And so we will go on to the superintendent's reports. And I'll start with Superintendent Peluso. Dr. Peluso.
Thank you, President Elliott. Good evening to you, Vice President LeBron, board commissioners, our family, staff, students, all joining us on our social media. I do want to start tonight's meeting by recognizing two of our staff members that are heroes, right? And we will formally recognize them next month. Yes. But they responded to a near tragedy yesterday during a basketball game between Monroe and School of the Arts at school number 33. A Monroe student collapsed during the game of play. Two incredible RCSD employers, Jashawn Rucker, and a Wilson Foundation school safety officer, and David DePasquale, an East athletic trainer, jumped to action and began life-saving efforts before the Rochester Fire Department arrived. The RPD and AMR also responded. They ran to a situation and responded and acted. The student regained consciousness and was transported to Strong Hospital. I'm pleased to share that the student is in stable condition and steadily improving. But it's all because of how these two staff members responded in a moment of crisis. And I cannot thank them enough. And around the holiday seasons, when we're thinking of our blessings and our families, they came here today. I just needed to make sure that it was in our report, and we uplift them today. So if I will pause.
We're gonna.
So if anyone, I would just pause for a quick second for a comment if anyone would like to make one.
Yeah, let's start with Commissioner
Wait,
Adams.
our student want to talk.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say, Mr. Rucker is at early college, so I see him every single day, and the way you present yourself with the students, and the way you show leadership, because he's also alum for early college, so you already know how it is at early college, but you're always up and you're always energized and always talking to students. You're not just a security guard, you're like a family to them. So I mean, when I heard this, I was like, oh yeah, I knew. It was no surprise, right? But thank you, Mr. Rucker. So see you tomorrow.
Commissioner Powell, any words?
I'm reminded of a poem that starts, if you can keep your head when all those around you are losing theirs. I think that reflects the kind of mindset that the both of you exhibited, being able to keep your head and take the right action at the right time. And that's the definition of leadership, isn't it? Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Adams?
Like the SSOs, I love them. They do way more than they get credit for. They do, they just have to look at the students and they know, uh-oh, come here, something's going on. What happened? I mean, they don't even have to have no conversation. They just know these students that well. So when I go to them buildings, these folks are the ones I go to. I get the inside story. And so I not just honor you tonight, I've always honored you and appreciate you, what you're doing. Thank you.
Commissioner Simmons? Thank you, Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Simmons?
Yes, as Commissioner Adams said, I honor you and I thank you for being in tune and in touch and making sure that you responded to what could have been a tragedy. And because you responded in the way you did, we have a student that is still with us. We have a family that's not in mourning, and we're right on top of the holidays. So what a wonderful gift you gave to a family, to this school community, to the RCSD. Thank you for what you've done, and I am honored to be in this room with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. We're going to go to our Zoom. Commissioner Malloy, you have any words to say?
Yeah, gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much for your courage, your commitment to our community and our students, and your bravery. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. Commissioner Patterson, would you like to say some words? I don't know if you can hear this conversation.
Yes, I'm.
All right.
So again, thank you both and all the SSOs for the very difficult job that you're doing. Obviously, you always have my support, 110%, tenfold. But again, yes, your job is very, very difficult. But we appreciate, you jumping in and saving a life. So again, kudos to you, going over and beyond the call of duty.
Thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Vice President LeBron.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you as well. And I just look at you guys as real life heroes, so that's what I will call you. And I do think, as Commissioner Simmons sort of mentioned, that this is such a miracle gift to give to a family, because I can't even imagine, right? Like having my child out there playing a game and then having a sudden medical emergency. And sometimes people freeze up too, right? Well-intentioned people sort of freeze up. So to not freeze up, but to respond, react, and make sure that you took care of that student until help arrived. Life-saving moments. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you from that family. I'm sure that family is also grateful, and I cannot wait to formally honor you next month at our board business meeting. And thank you to all of the Bente members who always go above and beyond. I want to recognize that our RAP and Bente bargaining units are some of our hardest working members in this district and in this community. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. And I just would like to conclude the remarks by thanking you all so very much. You have given back a family, their child. You have been trained well. It shows your commitment to our students and families in this district. You are some of the ones, as I think Commissioner Adams has said, that are closest to the community and people can talk to. Even when they may not be able to talk to others, they could talk to you. They could talk to you all as SSOs. They could talk to food service workers, because most of you all are from the community in which our students live. And so we thank you for that work. And we value, trust me, because we're from this community, we understand it, and we value you most highly. And so we want to just thank you both for saving our students' life. So much going on in our community, but for what you did, we as the board commend you for it. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
and more to come. We did have media with them today. They were highlighted through the media, so we'll see more of this. But once again, hug your loved ones, right? We know that. But this, which was said already, instead of not going to the moment, they ran to it and acted, and that is what saved someone's life. So once again, thank you both, gentlemen, and have a wonderful break. Enjoy your holiday, and Happy New Year. School choice, we just want to remind families that our school choice process is open now through Friday, January 19th. This is for all students entering kindergarten, 7th, and 9th grade. Once again, this is not the special lottery, this is the school choice. Families must have a PowerSchool parent portal account to participate in the school choice process. As you know, we're preparing our strategic plan that launched this past summer. This plan will guide our decision-making and resource allocation over the next 5 years. We are hosting several strategic planning focus groups via Zoom in January, and we want the participation of our stakeholders. Your feedback, ideas, and perspective will help shape the future of the district, and you can see on screen will be when those meetings will be held. Real talk, real change. Each year, we administer a school climate survey to students in grades 5 through 12, their families, and staff. This year's survey, with a theme of real talk, real change, provides us with the basis for understanding and improving the educational climate for the students and staff in our district. The survey will run from January 22nd to February 16th, 2024. You'll be able to access it on our website, and it will only take about 10 minutes to complete. The survey is completely anonymous and can be accessed from any device. Thank you. World of Inquiry, School Number 58, College March. So to the class of 2024 at World of Inquiry, I am so glad you were able to participate in the College March last Friday. This is an exciting annual tradition where you march from your school to City Hall and mail your letters declaring your intent to apply for college. This was a great opportunity to show our seniors a path to success, and they are lighting the way for other students to show them the importance of an education beyond high school. I want to thank Mayor Evans and the city for welcoming our students. We've talked about it earlier, and today, I'm sad that we'll be bidding farewell to two valuable members of our Board of Education this month. Commissioner Adams, a strong advocate for youth, education, and justice, has been instrumental in our community in encouraging parent involvement. He's a great example of an invested dad. I appreciate how Commissioner Adams says what he is feeling and has the students at the forefront of all his decisions. He teaches students in the community how to use voice in an appropriate way to bring attention to a cause or an injustice. I will miss his constant smile and positive attitude. Commissioner Willa Powell's tenure has spanned over 2 decades, and she's a tireless advocate for an equitable education. She has played a pivotal role in updating our district's policy and championing school choice as part of her legacy serving on the board. I relied heavily on Commissioner Powell as a historian. Her ability to remember and recall information has been instrumental in ensuring we have all the information necessary prior to making any important decision. I extend my sincerest gratitude to both of you for your outstanding service. Once again, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to welcome our 2 newest members to the Board of Education, who will be joining us here on the dais starting next month. A warm welcome to Commissioner-elect Jackie Griffin and Isaiah Santiago. Jacqueline is a proud graduate of Jefferson High School, and Isaiah is a recent graduate of the School of the Arts and the youngest person ever to be elected to the Board of Education. Congratulations to both of you. I know both of your experiences will play a significant role in helping us achieve academic excellence in our district. I look forward to your fresh perspectives, enthusiasm, and commitment to our students, families, and staff. I'd like to provide some information about our Invest in Tomorrow. I want to start by thanking the board for approving memorandums of agreement with our 4 bargaining units as we move into the implementation of Invest in Tomorrow. The opening of the new middle schools and 1 high school will require new leadership and staffing and include moves to new buildings. As part of the recruitment and retention process for staffing, one-time incentives will be provided to staff in all 4 bargaining units. Some of the financial incentives includes dollars for middle schools and new high school principals and assistant principals. It was an incentive for all Bente members whose positions, titles, and/or individuals did not previously receive an incentive. For our RAP certified teacher assistants and paraprofessionals in middle schools, RTA for certificated teachers in middle schools as well. And for the first year of 24-25, the district will also lower our general education class sizes in our elementary and middle schools. Our workforce is the foundation of our district, and we are dedicated to ensuring fair compensation for their efforts as we anticipate the transformative developments with our investment in tomorrow. Academic excellence is at the forefront of every decision we make, and it is essential that we have highly qualified certified staff in place for the beginning of the upcoming school year. Public forum to name schools. What is in the name? Honor, heart, promise, history, and the future. We're excited to be hosting a community forum on naming several schools as we plan for next school year, and invite you to join in our Invest in Tomorrow vision and make some recommendation. Your inputs as our partner in this transformative work is vital. We want the community to be part of history when we name 5 new and 2 existing schools in our district for the 24-25 school year. These names must be submitted to the State Education Department by March 1st of next year. We will be naming the middle school at 200 Genesee Street, the middle school at Dr. Freddie Thomas, the middle school at the Charlotte campus, and the middle school at the Jefferson campus, and the new high school at the Franklin campus. Additionally, during this time, we will be seeking names and renaming school number 34 and 46 to continue our journey to remove the names of those who are slave owners and segregationists in our city, and replace them with leaders who are unifiers, trailblazers, and have made significant impacts in transforming our community. In accordance with Policy 7500, we invite the community to join us on Tuesday, January 16th at 5 p.m. at the District Central Office located at 131 West Broad Street. We encourage you to sign up to speak by calling 585-262-8378 by noon on January 16th or emailing publicforum@rcsdk12.org if you cannot participate on that day of the forum. Please submit your recommended names to the same email by noon on January 16th, 2024. The deadline for us to submit the new names to the State Education Department is March 1st, and we are very excited about this process moving forward. Our special lottery. This is an important reminder to our families, and we will continue to reach out and make contacts on the impact for those that are impacted on reconfiguration. We need you to participate in the special lottery, which is running now through January 5th. Families must have a PowerSchool Parent Portal account to apply. Visit the special lottery page on our website for detailed instruction on the process. Students whose families do not participate in this process will be placed in schools closest to their home where space is available after we go through our selection process. And that concludes my superintendent's report for December. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Peluso. Superintendent Blocker? Oh, let me just, are there any questions for the superintendent? All right, thank you. Superintendent Blocker.
I would like to start first by saying thank you, President Elliott, Vice President LeBron, Commissioners, Dr. Peluso, and our community. And I would like to start with some notes in a message to Ricardo Adams and to Willa Powell. It is with great joy that I speak of Commissioners Willa Powell and Ricardo Adams, both who embody and model the traits we instill in our East scholars every day. These two have basically served as bookends for my administrative career. The very first day I became a principal is when I met Willa Powell as she brought her daughter to kindergarten at number 23 school. She has been supportive of me professionally since day one, and we remained connected over the years as our kids and families grew, and her daughter came back to me in high school when I opened up Early College International High School. What I appreciated most was her willingness to listen and seek input on topics over the years. We always had good conversations on what is best for kids. Ricardo was with me as I ended my career as a principal at East. To be honest, I thought at times he was a scholar at East because I saw him more than I saw some of the ones actually enrolled there. Every morning, he is outside making sure the day gets off to a good start. He is at every function, whether it be in the audience, at a football game, at graduation ceremonies, or in the gym for basketball. He models being an active father in his kids' lives and has been the epitome of a parent that understands when the school and the family work together, children excel. I always knew when I scanned the crowd and found Ricardo that I was at the right place and that I had support there with me. Willa and Ricardo have faithfully modeled our East mission of taking charge of the future by always putting children at the center of every decision they made. They have shown tenacity in how they argued gracefully yet forcefully to enact policies and resolutions that would benefit scholars and staff members. They thought purposefully when voting, and their records show a consistent pattern that is reflective of well-considered decisions, always for the benefit of scholars and staff. Lastly, Willa and Ricardo have exemplified advocating for self and others by relentlessly being a voice for the marginalized and often silenced members of our community. Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Powell, thank you for your service to the students and staff of the Rochester City School District for the impact that you have had on my life. You will be greatly missed. Thank you both. Now I would like to move on to our report. First up, we have our ceramics 1 and 2 and studio art highlights. Our scholars in Miss Donlan's class show their artistic talents while making coil vases, working on trempe l'oeil sculptures, and drawing self-portraits using the grid method. Next, our East scholars assisted elementary and middle school students with the STEAM Festival activities. They enjoyed the various stations that were offered and learned so much about hands-on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And they provided tons of fun and interactive learning for those of all ages. Great job, East scholars, being leaders. Our teaching and learning sophomores visited St. John Fisher College. They thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to tour the campus. They transitioned into a mock lesson using Bloom's taxonomy with other college students. And then they ended their day in the dining hall where all of us have fond memories at college. They ate everything from pasta and pizza to cookies and ice cream. Next. You can just wait 1 second while my computer moves up. Our East 7th graders were able to attend Get in the Game at the Strong Museum. On November 16th, a group of 7th graders attended the Get in the Game program. Scholars heard from top creators, executives, marketers, and innovators in the video game industry to hear about their career paths. They got to sample video games from local designers, and they experienced old school video games. Scholars learned how a wide variety of talents and skills are needed and can benefit them in the gaming industry in the future. Our East 6th graders attended, and our lower school NYSA scholars attended the Steam Maker Fair at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Scholars got to experience many hands-on activities, such as wiring circuits, soldering to create light-up pins, creating rockets, making slime, and painting with soil. They also heard from keynote speaker Brian Yarnish a children's author and illustrator and creator of Scrapkins, a recycled arts program that inspires kids to see creative potential in everyday junk. Our East Nursing Scholars were in action. They started their program in October and completed 54 hours of after-school hands-on classwork and training exploration at the U of R School of Nursing. For their field experience, they have observed 2 spinal surgeries, simultaneously competed in sessions in the hospital and the sim lab. Each scholar had to research a community health problem and present a professional information poster on their topics for their pinning ceremony that took place on December 6th. Our scholars participated in the Engineering Up. They explored careers in electrical, mechanical, and software engineering while solving undefined problems with unique solutions. This program offers students in the CTE Information Technology pathway the opportunity to dive deeper into software engineering, where they create, borrow, and share code with engineers around the world. They were taught how to do schematic drawings and then use Arduino board to write and code program. Lewis, Matt, Jason, and Jaden programmed cars, and Camille programmed sneakers with LED lights. They earned a 0.5 credit and, in addition, a $1,200 scholarship. It was amazing to watch their presentations and to see what they produced. The Beechwood Neighborhood Coalition held its 31st annual First Responders Dinner. This event brought together over 100 community members and first responders. Police officers, firefighters, Pathways to Peace, and also the PIC team were celebrated. This event was held at East High School and catered by our East culinary students. We are thankful for all of the community service these members provide. Congratulations to each of our 8th graders that were honored for their academic excellence and their display of our mission to be tenacious, think purposefully, and advocate for self and others. We are proud of you. This entire event was run by the Lighthouse team under the direction of Mr. Fields. All of our 9th graders had the wonderful opportunity to see A Christmas Carol at Jiva. All scholars were able to enjoy this experience. You can skip that next slide. On December 13th, East Upper and Lower musically artistic scholars showcased their talents for our school community. They did a magnificent job, and their work in isolation and collaboration was wonderful to witness. Thank you to so many from the community that came and attended this event. A group of teachers and administrators from East recently attended EL's national conference, Elevate, which brings together people from all over the world who are motivated by a shared vision of what's possible for K-12 students. They participated in a wide variety of sessions related to continuous school improvement, student engagement, authentic assessment, and high-quality work, and now are back sharing that learning with others. Thank you. Led by our lead teacher, Carrie Meehan Richardson, East teacher leaders spent the day off campus engaged in teacher leader retreat to build community, debrief data from a school-wide learning walk, and deepen learning around leadership of continuous improvement cycles. U of R consultants, as well as EL partners, participated in this. And then lastly, I just want to share a deep appreciation. Many of you know we had a loss in our community of Kenny Action Jackson, who was a standout basketball player at Edison. He was laid to rest today, this morning. He was also a standout father. And in an opportunity that just happened to come at the right time, East happened to be playing Edison last week for a basketball game. East Athletic Director Eric Robinson worked with the RCSD in Edison to offer a fitting celebration for a caring, involved, and impactful father, Kenny Action Jackson. Mr. Robinson had shirts made and provided them to all members of both teams and athletic staff and the family, which read, East High, Legendary Father, Edison High, Legendary Hooper. It was so nice to see the outpouring of love and community for the Jackson family, two of the boys which attend at East. Pain knows no boundaries, and when we as a community continue to come together to uphold the work that has been done by former students and to support the ones that are here, the difference continues on forever. I would like to thank the tremendous support that has been given to the boys and their little sister, as well as their older siblings. And I'd like to thank the RCSD and Edison for the unity that it showed. I also want to reflect back on the ceremony that we had a little bit ago with Jashawn Rucker and Dave DiPasquale. They're an example of someone who saved, as everyone indicated, someone's life. So the pain that this family has been going through, another family of a young son isn't going through. Lastly, I'd like to close by saying East wishes each and everyone a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season, and we're thankful for the opportunities we have to work in conjunction with the RCSD.
Thank you, Superintendent Blocker. I just want to, in light of Superintendent Blocker's report about Kenny Jackson, if we could just take a moment of silence for him and the family. Thank you. And so on to resolutions. We'll start with the consideration of the consent agenda resolution. And if you all are okay with it, Commissioners, we'll bundle these resolutions. So is there a motion for resolutions 532 through 535?
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Vice President LeBron, and I heard Commissioner Powell. Yeah. So any questions or comments related to resolutions 532 and 535? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Can I get a motion for resolutions 536 through 545?
Motion. I'll second.
Yep. Moved by Commissioner Simmons, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 536 through 545? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolutions 546 through 547?
Motion. Oh, give it to me.
Moved by Commissioner Adams, seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments related to resolutions 546 through 547?
Motion.
Oh, hi. I have a question. I just am trying to recuse myself from one of, and I don't have them in front of me. For 11A, have we covered that resolution? I
No.
have a personal conflict.
Yep. No, we haven't gone to that one, Commissioner. We're
Okay.
looking at
Can I-
546 through 547.
Okay, if someone could just indicate to me when we get to that resolution, I'd appreciate it.
Which one?
President Elliott, that is 546.
We are on the resolution, yes.
Yes.
This is 546. 11A on the agenda, 546 on the resolution.
That's the
So we're
one
on
that you
that
have
currently?
a conflict with, Commissioner?
She can't vote.
546.
Yes, so I just need to I need to recuse myself just from the 11A portion of that because it includes a member of my household, and this is per policy 2160. Thank you.
Commissioner, you got that? Okay. I thought you had mentioned 548, Commissioner Malloy, but you were talking about 546, correct?
11A.
11A and
11A,
546. Yep,
yes.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
thank
yep.
you for that.
Yep, yep. That's why I was sort of saying we'll go get it to it next. All right. Any other questions or comments related to 546 and 547? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? So you're opposing 11,
546.
I'm not opposing it, I'm just recusing myself from
recusing.
11A.
All right,
546.
thank you for the clarification. All right. Can I get a motion for Resolution 548?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to Resolution 548? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion for Resolutions 549 through 551?
Motion.
Motion by Vice President LeBron, is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to these resolutions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion for Resolution 552?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President LeBron, is there a second? Come on, somebody give me a second, y'all too slow. Who giving me the second? Is it you, Commissioner Adams? All right, Commissioner Adams. I know, listen, we really want to go slow because we don't want to lose these two people. So the slower we go, the longer they stay. So all those in favor for Resolution 552, that's the one we're on, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for Resolution 553?
Motion.
Moved by Vice President LeBron,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to Resolution 553? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion for Resolution 554? Moved by Vice President LeBron, is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Simmons. Any questions or comments related to Resolution 554? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Is there a motion for resolutions, and these are the bylaws that we are, remember, this is the bylaws that we are just doing technical changes to, and this is the workplace violence prevention so that we are approving this in a timely fashion. So is there a motion for
Motion.
moved by Vice President LeBron? Any second? Seconded by Commissioner Adams. Any questions or comments related to those two resolutions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So I believe that is it. I'm going to ask for the survey to be done, but let me just take the opportunity to just wish everybody a happy, a Merry Christmas, great holidays. Let me just also say this too. This is the term I'm starting to use. Life is lifing. Right? Yep. Life is lifing. I mean, there have just been some tremendous challenges that have been going on with our families and in our communities. And we're doing the best we can, given that life is lifing. And so I'm just wanting all of you, and on behalf of the board, to have an amazing holiday, get some rest. There are struggles, but I've heard the Reverend Robert Schuller say, tough times don't last, tough people last. And I know some people want to say some things, so I'm not going to end it right now. So let me just go to Rahima.
I was just going to call
I'm sure she's
attention.
going to say something.
Yes, we have in new business, the president, excuse me, not
yes,
president,
yes,
but
yes.
Commissioner Powell has a
So
presentation.
just keep that what I said for the end. Commissioner Powell, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I had promised a review of the survey
Thank you.
results from our policy committee. This will go really fast because you did get an update, I think it was in July. Is that, yeah, the slideshow is ready. Okay. So the first, the reason I want to make a point of this is we all know that expression, what gets measured gets done. And so these questions are different from what the survey questions we answer on the business meeting and a typical committee meeting. And that's, I'm really encouraging committee chairs to develop their own questions so that you can determine, whether you're meeting your goals as a committee chair. So the first question is, do we adhere to the approved agenda? You know that the policy committee is the only committee that actually asks its members to approve the agenda. You'll see, generally, there's a common theme that goes through all of the slides for all of the questions, and that is, come around June, we didn't have a meeting July, August, September, and especially October, people were not doing the surveys. Part of it was we were in a different location. People may have had difficulties using their brought-from-home laptops to follow the meeting along, but I encourage everyone to pay attention to the survey results or surveys at the end. Next slide. Did you receive materials in time? To the extent that people answered, they were all positive except for last month for some reason. Next slide. Were the materials sufficient to allow you to form an opinion? All the answers were yes for those that did answer. Same with question 4. Do you feel that you expressed your positions professionally and in accordance with the code of conduct? This was an opportunity for everyone to evaluate their own conduct, and to the extent that folks answered the question, folks felt like they did that for the entire year. Question 5, do you feel that your colleagues expressed their positions professionally and in accordance with the code of conduct? This is evaluating each other. With the exception of December, they were all positive. Question 6, do you feel the chair gave everyone equal opportunity to express their concerns relative to each policy in the agenda? This is the committee evaluating the chair. There was one instance where the answer was no, and it goes way back to May. Question 7, do you feel that your concerns were given a fair hearing by your colleagues prior to the vote to advance the policy on the agenda? There was one nay in December, but otherwise the answers were all yes. Question 8, do you feel the chair was fair and even-handed, maintaining order and applying the bylaws and Robert's rules? Again, one nay in December. I guess there was a tricky, tough topic that, as you all know. Question 9, was the chair effective in allowing all sides to be heard while bringing the matter to a decision? There was a problem in May, but otherwise all answered yes. And 10, did the meeting bring the board closer to fulfilling its obligation to review the entire manual? I think the nays on this one were kind of reflecting the issues they carried from other questions. Not so much did we achieve our objective. Next slide. These are the items people thought were most impactful over the last 6 months. I didn't include the first 6 months because we covered that back in July. And which portion of the meeting did you find least impactful? And these are the responses that we got then. So that concludes the survey. I think it indicates that the policy committee, the way we ran it, was effective throughout. And I hope whoever picks up the baton after me carries through with that. I do want to take a point of privilege, since I have the mic, to, Isaiah left. I hope you're watching on video, Isaiah. I want you to.
Probably just stepped out, Commissioner. I think his bags, is that his bags?
Yeah, that's his bag. He's still.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell him personally, but I want to invite Isaiah to stand up for our student rep, because one of the things we've let get away from us is the student rep is invited to give an advisory vote on matters not personnel. And I hope someone that's so recently left high school himself will be your ally, David, and ensure that you have the opportunity to cast your advisory vote. And you take the time to show up here every business meeting. We want to hear your voice, not just for the report, but there he is. Isaiah, stand up for your buddy, okay? Make sure he gets a chance to cast his advisory vote on matters when he has that are not personnel related, okay? That's my ask and plead of you.
So let me just say, though, that it wasn't done intentionally.
No, I know.
I just forgot. I mean, tell the truth and shame the devil. I just forgot. So my apologies to you.
So, and while I have the mic, there's one last thing I was hoping to do. If Tom could put up the slide that shows how many board members I served with over my 24 years. It's part of the shorter slide deck. And anyone who didn't tune in before 6:30 and who is out there on Facebook land and watching us stream, go back to the beginning and watch the slide deck. I put together the history of the Board of Education because I wanted tonight to be a celebration of all board members. I know that Ricardo and I are the focus of attention, and I suppose rightfully so, but look at all these people in the last 24 and a half years that have served on the Board of Education. Some for a mere months, a handful for only a year. But, you know, Cynthia has served, by the time her term ends, she'll have served 20 years. She's served 18 years already. Van White served 16 years. Frank Willis served 19 and a half years. So we had a combination of fresh new blood and longevity over the last 24 years. We should remember our recent past as well as our ancient history. And I went into the ancient history because every time I opened up one of the books to find the answer, well, who was the board president in such and such year? I found more questions. You know, I found a situation in 1992 where the board actually could not select their board president. After 26 ballots, they could not select a board president. And the general counsel, Mr. Kaufman, served as the facilitator and chair of the meeting until May, from January till May. And Adrian is shaking his head, no, not me. And the reason it was a problem was because there were only 6 board members, Ben Douglas having been elected to city council. And so it was a deadlocked 3-3 tie. And in a situation like that, of course, who gets to be president is really important because they ultimately could be the one appointing someone to that vacancy. So one of the reasons it took so long to reach closure was that the board was negotiating a new set of bylaws, which is really why I'm telling this story this time. They successfully negotiated a new set of bylaws, passed the bylaws, and with it was an agreement that they would not appoint anyone to that vacancy until after the primary. And that is how Gail Jill Jones got her seat. There's a whole host of firsts and longests. You know, there's the first African-American man to be elected to the board. There was who was appointed before he was elected. There was the first African-American woman who was appointed and never served as an elected individual. The first Latino was Emilio Serrano, who was appointed back in the day when the mayors appointed, even though everyone was elected. He was appointed on 2 separate occasions, but didn't serve as the permanent board or an elected board member. So the honor of the first elected board member goes, first elected Latina was Nancy Padilla. And the first elected male Latino was Domingo Garcia. No, I'm sorry, Mike Fernandez. So we've had all our firsts. You know, the first African-American to serve as president, the first Latino to serve as president. We've had all our firsts, and there's, you know, at this point we're reached, like, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Except that we have Isaiah, who is now the youngest to ever serve, and the youngest Latino, right? We had Malik, who was our youngest African-American to ever serve, and we had David Branch before that, being the first the youngest white person to ever serve. So, you know, we have this wonderful history, and that tells a story. You know, there's a novel in there somewhere, right? And so, if you're let your curiosity guide you. Let your curiosity in what's here and now, with the issues in front of us today, inspire you and to do good work. And I, again, just want to elevate all these people who have served on the board before me, with me, and who will serve after me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. I know Vice President LeBron has some words to say.
No, I just want to thank my work husband, Ricardo Adams, Commissioner Adams, for all of your support throughout the years, both in and out of the board and in and out of this role. So for those who don't know, I knew Commissioner Adams and the Adams family prior to joining the school board, doing community work and community advocacy work and advocacy and activism. So our relationship didn't form on this school board. It certainly is not going to stop on this school board. And we're neighbors and we're real life friends. So I just have to let people know, because there's a lot of work that happens. And certainly I don't give enough credit to individuals who support me and allow me to do all that I do. And it's because of people like Commissioner Adams, who ensures that when I can't get my kid to school because I'm sick or have a work obligation, or for whatever reason, it does not matter if I need the Adams to come. Commissioner Adams himself will come pick up my daughter and take her to school and make sure, because he knows that education is important to both of us, for both our kids. But I would not be able to do all that I do without the support of many individuals, and Commissioner Adams and the Adams family being one of my biggest supporters to me and my entire family. So they are family to me, my husband, my kids, and we look to you guys as family. And yeah, I will see you guys at some holiday parties and just celebrations next year. But just thank you, Ricardo, for your service.
Thank you, Vice President. Commissioner Adams has some words to say.
The only thing I just have to say, I wanted to say it after Superintendent Blocker spoke, but I cannot go through this meeting without just acknowledging Kenny Jackson, man. He is, we really had developed a good friendship. He liked me because I got a big mouth, so I could help root for his kids on the field. But man, he was an amazing human. He's got a heck of a story, more than just a father, athlete. He was putting work in. He was there for folks when they was going through it, when some people went through what his kids is going through now. And so I couldn't let this meeting go on without acknowledging his whole family. Just thank you for the time that I've been able to spend with it, you know. And with that, I'm done.
So thank you, everybody. But like I said, I'll end by saying what Lester Holt says every night: take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Moved by Commissioner Vice President LeBron. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Adams. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Good night, everybody. Happy holidays to you all.